What if I told you the only way to become great is to become the imposter? Every millionaire, every creator, every expert that you admire was once pretending to be the very thing that they'd soon become. We call it fake it till you make it. But what's really happening here is so much deeper than that cliche saying. And it's something I call the identity rehearsal. And it's critical if you want to be a successful content creator. In fact, it's something you must embody. You're not lying about who you are. You're rehearsing on who you're becoming. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why becoming the imposter is the very thing you need to do in order to become successful. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Jimenez. I own a content creation agency that I've had for the last 7 years and have scaled past a few $1 million in revenue and have 5 to 7 million subscribers under management. My content creation agency focuses primarily on YouTube. With that being said, the things that I'm going to tell you today are the very thing you need to become in order to win on YouTube. And it doesn't have to be YouTube. It could be Instagram, it could be TikTok and so forth. But becoming the avatar is so important if you want to win online. And we all know the future is online. So pay attention to the remainder of this video, and I'm going to tell you why and how you can become the imposter in order to win in your content. First, let's talk about what being the imposter really means. To be the imposter, it does not mean to be deceptive. In fact, it means acting as the person you intend to become before the external world or even your own mind believes it yet. This is not being fake, it's transformation in progress. Would you say that a flower is being fake before its petals came out? No, you would not. You would say this is part of its transformation. Every major reinvention in life begins with pretending. This goes to the athlete that trained like a champion before he ever was called one, or the entrepreneur that speaks with confidence before he has any proof, or the creator that posts like someone with an audience before any audience even exists. The imposter phase is the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to be. Now, why do most people stay stuck at the imposter phase? Well, because most people never evolve, because they're waiting until they feel ready. But readiness isn't a prerequisite, it's a result. It comes after you act, never before. This is why people who wait to do something never do the thing, because the readiness is the symptom of some action that has taken place. People that are stuck here, they think that being the imposter is wrong, but the truth is, it's the only way forward. It's the path every master walks before the world recognizes their name. Now let's talk about the science behind identity rehearsal, because that's what I like to call it. Psychologists call this self-signaling. Every action you take sends a message to your subconscious. When you behave like the confident person, your brain begins to believe you are the confident person. Neuroscientist Andrew Huberman, who I'm a big fan of, calls this acting your way into identity. And I say it slow because that sentence has tons of magnitude behind it. And research on embodied cognition shows that your posture, your tone, and your environment can literally recode your self-perception. The brain doesn't distinguish between real confidence and rehearsed confidence. It learns from the repetition of acting confident. Now, before we go deeper into unlocking how you can be super successful online through content creation, if you don't know who I am, my name is Matt Jimenez. I own a content creation agency over the last 7 years and have 5 to 7 million subscribers under management through our YouTube channels. Way before I got here, I acted like the successful person. I wore the clothes that I could not afford. I drove the car I could not afford. And within 2 years of starting my business, I did all of those things with surpluses of disposable income. I went from $0 working a deli job, but pretending like I was the business owner. And within 2 years of starting my business, we scaled to over $1 million in revenue. So I am existing proof of acting the part before you get to play the role. I just wanted to give you that backstory on who I am, because it would be crazy if somebody that had accomplished nothing is trying to tell you about being the imposter. Meanwhile, they're still in the imposter phase. My new imposter phase is being the ultra super successful guy that has maybe exited a business. That's my next phase. But currently right now, I'm living the imposter phase that I once saw 6 years ago. So now let's talk about why being the imposter is essential First, you have identity, which precedes reality. Before your results change, your identity must. The world mirrors how you see yourself. If you never shift your internal identity, your external reality will always stay the same. Second, it forces calibration. The gap between who you are and who you're acting creates tension, and that tension is where growth lies. Think about it. When you're at the gym and you're holding a weight, that tension that you feel that your muscles just want to give out is the very tension that forces growth. So in this case, it forces you to level up your habits, level up your skills, your disciplines until that gap gets closed and you become who you were pretending to be. Now, number 3, this is my favorite one, and this states, society rewards perception before proof. This is why you can see so many fake online gurus, because society rewards perception, not proof. Now let's dig deeper. People believe in the version of you that believes in itself. The world mirrors confidence, not credentials. That's why so many opportunities only appear after you act like the person who deserves those opportunities. Number 4, every reinvention requires a death. This is the phase in which somebody feels weird doing this because their old self is now being in a mental battle with the new self that's trying to embody the single body that you occupy. So, in this phase, to become someone new, you must outgrow who you were. That process feels like fraud because your identity hasn't caught up to who you are yet. Keyword yet. You're mourning the old self while rehearsing the new one. That discomfort is not failure. It's the feeling of evolution. So if you feel that, you're on the right path. Now let's talk about a shift. When the imposter syndrome shifts to the real. That's what happened to me. There's no single day that you stop being an imposter. It happens quietly. At some point, the identity once pretended to be feels natural and even obvious. In this phase, your actions and your self-image start to align. You no longer have to act like that person because you are now that person. This is where the imposter dissolves. And what's left is the authenticity born from its effort. Every master was once a beginner pretending to know what they are doing. I always say to people, how long does the imposter have to be the imposter until they are the thing they were imposing? And it's very true. If you impose something long enough, eventually you are the thing that you're imposing. And you'll know when that happens in yourself because it becomes your new default setting. You know, you have old habits right now that you do that are default settings. Let's say you're not into eating good food and you eat junk food. Eating bad food is just habit. You just kind of pick it up nonchalantly. But when you start substituting for healthy meals, eventually, when you don't even realize you're eating healthy, you're no longer acting as the healthy person. You are that healthy person. When that shift happens, when you cannot identify, oh wow, I just ate the healthy meal. When that happens, that's when the imposter has dissolved and you are now the flower that was once trying to bloom, that everybody was making fun of. Oh, look at it, it's trying to be a flower. That's when that happens to you. Now let's talk about real world parallels. This would look like something as the creator who keeps posting to an empty audience until the world finally catches on, or the athlete that trains like a champion before he's ever called one, or the entrepreneur who pitches like a millionaire before he's ever made a single dollar. They're all imposters until they're not. I acted like the millionaire before I was the millionaire, and now that's my reality. I was the imposter that was broke and had no money whatsoever, had no offer online until I was not. That can happen to you, but there's this weird paradox. This is what I call the paradox of progress. And here's why it's a paradox. Because you must impose your future self onto your present self. You fake the confidence until you earn the competence. You act like the expert until results make it undeniable. And one day, you wake up and realize what once felt like pretending was just becoming. But Matt, how does all this apply to content creation? And if you're here, you know I make videos because I believe better content starts with a better you. So every content creator must start as an imposter. Turn on your camera before you've earned the confidence to even be in front of it. You post your videos before anyone's even watching. You share ideas before the world validates them. That early discomfort, that awkwardness on camera, that doubt about the things you're saying, and that self-criticism, that's not a sign that you're unqualified. It's a sign that you're in the becoming phase. I remember the first time I tried to shoot content, I was with Mark Moss, who was one of my first clients, and I went out to Texas, and he said, Matt, you shoot content. Because normally I'm the guy holding the camera and trying to help other people have their content. He said, Matt, you shoot content. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. So we're outside, he holds the camera. I couldn't get a word out. I could not get a word out. It was the most humiliating thing. I was so embarrassed, especially the fact that he was my first and biggest client. We still work with him today. He has over 700,000 subscribers. Started working with us at 40,000. He was a content creator master. And he would always tell me, Matt, make content, Matt, make content, Matt, make content. And then that day he did that. He told me, you feel like the imposter. That's called imposter syndrome. And that has stuck in my mind for the last 4 years. On that day that he filmed me in Austin, Texas, in his ranch in the backyard. I remember that feeling very, very explicitly. I remember the fumbling of my tongue and lips trying to make simple sentences. And I remember the overarching attempt to be articulate. I remember trying to use fancy words to allude to me being smart. But really what happened was I was in the becoming phase. That discomfort was the becoming phase, and it was necessary to where I'm at today. And now, not only do I run over 5 to 7 millions inside of my agency, making hundreds of videos every single week, I also make my own content on this channel, and I make content for another brand that I'm the face of. So that becoming phase is now my reality. I make content very effortlessly and very comfortable. In fact, in my very own home, I built out the studio so I could film with just the press of a button and talk effortlessly to you. I don't even need scripts. I could just get a topic and just put bullet points like I had here today and rip on it. But it wasn't always like this. And it's not going to be like that for you. Because when you develop discipline, awareness, and depth, your content becomes more magnetic. When you train your mind like a professional, your audience will start to treat you like one. So don't run from the imposter phase. Now back to the rest of everything I put here for you today. Well, there's one thing you need to understand. Do not run from the imposter phase. In fact, lean into it, chase it, become it, be happy that you're there. Think of the awkwardness as the same soreness you feel after a good workout. You know you're sore because you're actually growing. Think of that awkwardness as that exact same feeling. Use the camera as a mirror to refine your identity. Speak like a creator if you want to become one, even before the views or the followers prove it. Look at this channel. It's small. I don't get any views, but I speak with authority, I speak with clarity, and I speak with confidence. And I show up every single week, and I'm gonna show up for the next 5 years because I started this channel on a 5-year journey. And even if I get 1 subscriber a month, I will still be here doing the same thing. Some people may say that's a waste. I call it training because YouTube isn't testing your talent. It's testing your consistency and conviction. And the ones who keep showing up as the imposters eventually become the real thing that the world looks up to. You know I'm obsessed with philosophy, so let me leave you with this quote by Nietzsche. He said, become who you are. So stop waiting till you feel ready. Start behaving like the version that has already made it. Because the truth is, you can't think your way into a new life. You need to act your way into a new one. You'll feel fake at first. You'll doubt yourself. People will doubt you. But that's the cost of transformation. Because no one becomes real without first being the imposter. If you found this valuable, please subscribe to the channel. If you made it this far, thank you for watching.